When we first talked, you talked a little bit about the challenges of growing a culture in a hybrid work environment. I'd like to
Yeah.
spend a little time on that.
Yeah, it's a big challenge right now. In fact, we were talking about it last night. I was at a startup event last night. We were talking about it. And still no one's given me that golden bullet that can, or silver bullet that can solve the problem.
Mhm.
Um, it's here, right? Hybrid's
Mhm.
here. I've got
Mhm.
employees that couldn't wait to get back in the office, and I've got
Yep.
employees that have said, if you make me come back in the office, I quit.
I'm out.
I'm done. Um,
Yeah.
and then we got folks that want the majority want that flexibility, right?
Mhm.
And because we do manufacturing, because we have the 3D printing, and because we do product development, we have a lab. We have some workers that have to be in the
Yeah.
office, and we have some that don't, and we have some that it helps. And what I've noticed, so we've adapted to that, right? We had work from home before. It's really nothing new. It's just a bigger magnitude for us.
Mhm.
Remote folks, living we actually had an employee for a while that lived in the Netherlands, right? And that was kind of our biggest stretch, and it worked quite well.
Mhm.
But when it's just a few, it works well. Now that it's maybe a third of our folks are mostly work from home, what I've noticed, and I just wrote an article about this for the Business Journal, is culture's suffering, and
Mhm.
that's starting to
Mhm.
have an impact,
That's right.
right?
Yep.
We
Gotta
we
work on it.
we yeah, that sense of belonging, right,
Mhm.
is easier to create when you're face to
That's
face
right.
and those hallway conversations. We actually do
Mhm.
have water coolers, and sometimes people do talk at the water cooler, but it's more often the coffee pot. Um, those connections that happen because you're in the same room can be done in this virtual environment, but you have to work harder.
Yes.
And we're really trying to get our head around how do we um, pull those folks in that are remote. How do we spend? How do I get them to feel connected? And some of the things that are working
Mhm.
for us, but not as much as I'd like, is we pretty much have instituted across the company various kinds of stand-up meetings. So virtual. So
Mhm.
like in my consulting team, 3 days a week, everybody drops everything, gets on a call for 30 minutes. And we just go
Mhm.
around the virtual room and what are you working on? And I would say half the time, like we were making fun of the fact that one of our employees has already put her Christmas decorations up, right? There was no value add to that discussion, right?
Right. Right.
Except we laughed, we bonded, we
Mhm.
expressed our opinions, we teased each other a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, we sent some funny pictures in the chat. That was far better than, my supply chain problem on this one product. I can't get this
Mhm.
FPGA
Yeah.
chip. Do you know somebody I can get it from? That discussion needed to be had as well, but
Mhm.
more value was had from that interaction over Christmas.
Right. So let me make a distinction here to
Please.
what you said that there was no value add to that. I would disagree with that.
Yeah.
There might not be a business value add,
There's no
but there's
technical
but there is
project. There's no
but there
project
is a
value add.
human value add.
There's a human value add, 100%. And we need to do more of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it
Got it.
needs to be the other thing we've learned the hard way is it can't be forced.
Right.
And if you say we're going to get
Mhm.
together and bond, especially with engineers, yeah, it ain't going to happen. Um, but when you have your stand up, which is supposed to be about projects and needs and
Mhm.
want and project
Mhm.
issues, and it devolves into making fun of Christmas decorations,
Right.
um, that's a huge value add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um what would you say are the biggest challenges that you're facing uh inside your organization, and do you think those are the same challenges that are happening throughout your industry?
Yeah, there's really two. One is external, one is well, both are caused by external and internal. But
Mhm.
um, the pressing one and the one that's new to us is turnover. So we
Uh,
had an almost unbelievably low turnover. Again, that was kind of our goal, right? Is to create a
mhm.
place where people want to come to work. And
Right.
if that's not what attracted them here, they didn't last very long, right? But there's a lot of good offers out there, especially for engineers.
Mhm.
It's going down a little bit, and very long term employees are like, I thought I would spend the rest of my career here, but this is an offer I
Mm.
can't pass up. And
Mhm.
those people that are good employees, we let them know the door is always open and please come back if it doesn't work out. But Good luck, and hopefully we can work together. And we have in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in some cases, they come back. It's been a real challenge for us because now we have to now in a very difficult when you're only hiring for growth and not for replacement, it's a lot easier. When you're trying to grow and replace, oh my gosh, our
Yes.
HR manager has been a busy person.
Well.
um,
Mm-hmm.
we've really struggled with that. I think we're doing okay now. Again, that reputation, that marketing we do in our space does help us because our reputation with the folks we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to hire is there. We've also, for the first time, used a recruiter, but we're using a very specialized recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
He takes veterans that have just exited the military that are looking to get into sales or
Hmm.
engineering and helps them kind of re-enter the ecosystem, the civilian ecosystem, a
Hmm.
little bit of coaching, a little bit of training,
Mm-hmm.
and finds the right match. And it's been a win-win.
Good. That's great.
Yeah, it's been a great fit for us rather than
Mm-hmm.
most headhunters are just kind of it's a body. It is a fungible asset. To go
Well,
back to the
yeah,
prop. Yeah.
and that's a whole separate conversation I can
Yeah.
have with you, having been in that business
When
and
you're in that business, yeah. Right.
and having been, what I would consider in the top 2%. It's,
Uh,
how do you separate the wheat from the chaff? And
yes.
part of the problem and I don't want to
Uh-huh.
hijack the conversation, but part of the problem is contingency, working
Yep.
on contingency.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to pay somebody and partner with them, why should they do
Mhm.
anything but throw bodies at you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that isn't to say that all retained recruiters are great, because that is clearly not the case. I could tell you stories, but it's, the challenge is, how do we find the right partner that's going to be the right person to do things for us? So,
Mhm. And I think it's
yeah.
working for us with this one recruiter because
Mm-hmm.
we're not paying a retainer, but he has a mission. His organization has a mission, right?
Okay.
And that gets him over that hump of we really need to find the right match. This isn't
Mm-hmm.
just about getting that commission.
Yeah.
This is about finding a home from these people
Yeah.
that have, really done a lot
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of the country. Now it's their turn, right? And it's worked well. So the
Okay.
other challenge
Yep.
we're facing is complete and total chaos and uncertainty in our market, right?
Hmm.
It's actually, I was going to say it's never been predictable. It has. We're in a lot of industries, but they're all kind of the same. And, economic upturn goes up and economy goes down. You kind of predict what happens. Right now, we've been through many recessions. We've never been through an inflationary recession. We've never been through a land war in Europe. I mean,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of aerospace customers and defense customers, so that's really impactful. We've never seen this level of cash that our customers have on hand,
Hmm.
but at the same time, they don't know what's going to happen next as well. And being at the bottom of the hill, it all rolls downhill to us, right? And so every day is unpredictable. I can't tell you a customer that we could fairly easily forecast is going to do a project with us, is going to buy a piece of equipment from us, is going to add more software to engineers
Mm-hmm.
can use. Totally unpredictable. We could be 2 days away from a purchase order, and then we've decided to not spend any money. We actually had a customer say this in July. We've decided, because our stock price is down, we're not spending any money other than salary money until our fiscal year starts again on November 1. All projects, all new product development, all software acquisitions, all hardware acquisitions stop so that we
Wow.
can get our stock price back up.
Ugh.
And it didn't
Just-
work.
Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.